I think silver is going to have a huge explosive move at some point. But once I think crude oil hits 88 or 89, I think it's going to be in for very sharp correction. And that's when I think we're going to see the tides turn for precious metals. I think a lot of things are kind of cycles and price action is coming to an end here around end of January. There's going to be a big turnaround, I think, in the markets based on some longer term price points and cycles. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, silver's tough. I mean, I think silver's going to have a huge explosive move at some point. You know, it's held down really, really badly. I mean, you see it just get pounded all the time with all these contracts. Craig Hemke talks about it in pretty great detail. But when you look at silver, I mean, I like silver. I think it's putting in a bottom. I think it's very close to starting another leg up. In terms of value, like where it's going next, I mean, it still has a lot of room to go here to really break out to something significant. It still needs a 20% rally to get up here. And the problem with silver is it's a very tough thing to trade. It's a lot like natural gas in a way where you get these massive pops and sharp sell-offs intraday or massive drops. It's just overall a tough trade. But you can see here on the silver chart, we're really kind of above this kind of, we're about to break through this tipping point. We're rallying up today as we're talking here. If we can get above this, more or less the $25 level, that could be the start of a very strong move right back up to 28 going forward. And I think if we start to see a big run there's going to be another huge demand, another run on physical metals. And when silver breaks to new highs here over the past year and a half, that is going to spark, I think, a massive movement in physical metals. People are going to try to get their metals. It's going to be crazy premiums again. And I think it might actually start to trigger, maybe the manipulation will start to get out of control and they can't be manipulated when spreads get so big and, you know, they're supposed to deliver and all the delivery stuff can't make it. I think silver's in for a really big storm, which is good for people who own it. I think down the road, we just need to get to above 30 and start ripping to the upside. And I think the physical demand could trigger legal actions that could cause silver to like completely unwind the shorts. That's kind of what I think is brewing behind the scenes, but we do need silver to break out.
Interesting. It'll be very telling if once that story is really revealed, right?
Yeah.
So, Chris, do you think that oil's rally will start to hurt the miners as input costs start rising and margins could shrink?
I think it will for sure. I mean, the price of fuel has gone up so high. I mean, we're paying more for fuel where I am now than we paid back when oil was at $150 a barrel. It's crazy. So that's going to definitely play a big role. I mean, fuel cost is huge in mining. I do think crude oil is getting a little long in the teeth. I'm expecting it's going to rally to about $88 or $89 a barrel. That might put some pressure on metals and miners for a little bit. If the dollar moves up a little bit closer to resistance, if oil moves up, that might be a little bit of a pullback, and it could take metals a little longer to work themselves out of this base. But once I think crude oil hits 88 or 89, I think it's going to be in for very sharp correction. And that's when I think we're going to see the tides turn for precious metals. I think a lot of things are kind of cycles and price action is coming to an end here around end of January. There's going to be a big turnaround, I think, in the markets based on some longer term price points and cycles and things like that. So it's going to be a very exciting, I think, end of year, the last couple of months here. It's going to be a big beginning of the year next year, huge volatility across the board. And hopefully it'll work out really well for precious metals.
Mm-hmm. So, Chris, when we're thinking about that pullback in oil, what are some of the key levels that you're looking for? Do we have any support on this chart here?
Yeah, so it has found support just recently down at the 50-day moving average, which is this blue line. It's also a level here where price rallied up and it traded sideways for 3 days before starting another leg higher. So it's definitely come down to find support. Right now, it is trading at a short-term resistance area. It's kind of broken these lows here. It's kind of stuck under that level. So we're just coming back up to there. Hopefully, it'll get some traction and start to move higher and push up towards 88, 89. If it does close below this low, which will also probably be below the 50-day moving average by that time, because it'll take several days to come down. If it was to close below, $78 a barrel, that would probably be a trend change, and we'd be actually starting to see this unwind and move lower. But when we look at like some other sectors, like the energy stocks, XOP, for example, this is natural gas and oil exploration. It's kind of like the GDXJ of the energy sector. They're breaking out to new highs, and that's a good sign. Typically, the leverage plays, the stocks go first, and then we see the commodity follow. So the energy stocks today are up 2.5%. I think they're telling us that oil wants to continue to move higher. It's going to go higher. And I think the energy sector stocks are going to have a really strong pop here if crude can pop and start to head towards 88, 89. I think the energy sector stocks are going to have a very sharp blow-off move where we're going to see huge appreciation within a few trading sessions. I think it'll be short-lived, but we're in this exhaustion phase where I think we're going to see this final push up in these stocks, and it could be pretty big.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information, and it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.